Hello, everybody. Good morning or afternoon. It's Dave Neal, stand-up comic, host of Bachelor Nation News. Now, we're right in the middle of the season for Golden Bachelorette, although some are saying it's kind of boring. Some like a little boringness after some crazy Jen and Devin drama. But now we've got the top three revealed of the next Bachelor. Grant, I'm assuming, as it historically goes, his season will air beginning of January, sometime in that time frame. Well, Grant's final three have been revealed by Reality Steve. We're going to get into that, who they are. Now, to answer your question, do we even care? In short, no, you don't. And I'll tell you why. Because Grant was essentially plucked, I don't want to say from obscurity, but he wasn't a top two, top three. It wasn't Jonathan from Jen's season or somebody that we built more time and equity with. Are you familiar with this sales technique where you got to put the product in someone's hand, and the longer you talk to a potential client, the better chance you have at selling to them, because time is energy, and the more time we spend on something, the more energy we give it, right? So with that said, the less amount of time we spend on something, the less energy we give. And that'll be, completely apparent when I look at the download numbers of this episode. Now, it doesn't mean it's not going to be a good season. It just means everyone's like, Grant, what do we know about him? He's a finance bro. He's a good-looking dude. I liked him. I liked Grant because he didn't get involved in the drama. He was actually very much like Nate on Michelle Young's season, although Nate won, whatever that means, in the sense that they both knew their self-worth. They both knew they were like tall, good-looking men, and they did not dabble in the drama. Grant had the chance to, and he said, nope, not doing it. Drama is for the guys that don't have a clear storyline or, feed off of that. And he's like, no, I'm polished. I don't need that. Now, will there be drama on his season? Oh, you better believe it. I mean, the drama will dance around him. He can be a totem pole of truth, and the drama can just, do-si-do around that, whatever the heck that means. So I got my top three. And again, these are from Reality Steve. He's really good. Steve's the best when it comes to batting average. How does he know this? Nobody knows. I'll tell you what, I'll share with you his top four, and then I'll share the top three. And again, we have all of the Grant's women located there. But let's go. This is from Steve's Instagram. Spoiler, and by the way, spoiler, so if you don't want this information, I got to get rid of that graphic. If you don't want this information, by all means, now's your chance to tune out. If you want spoil-free content, have I got the podcast for you. On today's episode of the Morning Rush Hour podcast, I share all of the entertainment news from over the weekend. If you walk the dog, drive to Starbucks, or just need a companion on your quiet day, I got you covered. I want to shout out Lori. Lori's one of our loyal listeners, we found out over the weekend, so big shout out to Lori there on the Rush Hour podcast. All right, let's get into it. I'm not milking the clock here. I just want to give you guys a chance. Some people watch on their TVs. Shout out to Mimi out there. I think Mimi watches on her Kindle. I want to give you guys a chance to tune out if you don't want the finalists, but we don't have the winner. So here's Grant's final four. The final four are Juliana Pascarosa, and she's from Massachusetts. And then we have Zoe McGrady on the right from New York. Then we have Lydia. Wait, how would you guys pronounce that? Lydia Gar from Wyoming. Oh, I kind of like a good Wyoming person. Dina Lupanku from Illinois. So Dina's got the skinny arm there, and then we got the halter top thingamabob, and then what is this, a two-piece happening in Massachusetts from the Masshole? Who knows? And then, of course, Lydia's in front of a LG rock. Very nice stuff, ladies. All right, so there's your top four. Who gets voted off? Well, let's see the final three. You guys ready? This is a spoiler. Hey, by the way, Gina said, how do we know all this when it hasn't even aired yet? Don't doubt Reality Steve, okay? He knows things. I've accused him of being a possible time traveler. It might be that he goes ahead in time. Now, you might say, of all the things, you could go ahead in time and you could pick lottery ticket numbers and send them back to yourself and become a billionaire. No. Reality Steve uses his time travel abilities to find out who Grant's top 3 finalists are. And sometimes he's wrong, but most of the time he's right, but sometimes you get faulty information. I just assume he knows, it's probably always the most random sources. Like I can guarantee, and I'm not saying, I've never asked him this. I would never ask someone about their sources, but I can guarantee one of his sources is a cleaning lady in a hotel room. She's like, I just cleaned the fantasy suite. This lady definitely wins, whatever the case may be. She left chocolate strawberries everywhere, half bitten. So, it was good. There were handprints on the windows and the mirror of the bathroom. Anyhow, here's Grant's final 3. All right, Juliana Masshole, our boss, our chick from Waltham, Mass, right there on, what is that, Route 4? What's the highway? 95? She's on Route 95. Then we have Zoe from New York. I don't know which borough she's from. Maybe she's from Long Island. I don't really know. And then we have Lydia from Draper, Utah. So we lost the Wyoming girl. We said sayonara to Wyoming. So here's your final 3. I tell you what, let's listen to what Steve had to say. As always, go listen to the source content. We love to recommend our good friend, Reality Steven here. Here's what he had to say.
I will let you know where they are, and maybe stuff will get out. When you look back on this season, we're down to the final 3. And the only dates that have publicly gotten out were Dina's date in Madrid, her one-on-one date, Juliana's hometown date in Newton, Massachusetts, and Dina's hometown date last Thursday in Illinois. That's it. Normally, stuff does not get out when it comes down to overnights and final rose ceremony, because seemingly that's going to be in another country. For Jen's, they went to Hawaii. Stuff did get out. If they go...
Maybe Reality Steve knew the guy who was running the luau in Hawaii. There's like a guy spinning the pig on the spit, like just listening, like, oh boy, Devin seems to be.
To a U.S. property, better chance something might get out. But again, it's hit or miss. I never know if I'm ever going to get any pictures or videos of anything.
By the way, I would read a book if Reality Steve wrote a book there'd be pop-ups in the book. Pop-up ads. Hey, I love a good ad myself. I'm not here to judge. Wait, how many ads can we fit in this thing? I love, by the way, they should put ads in the fantasy suite, How much would it cost for me to get a Rush Hour podcast pillow in the fantasy suite? So they could say, oh, shall you choose to you know what I want? I want to sponsor the whole suite. Shall you choose to forego your individual bedrooms? Please join Grant in the Rush Hour Podcast Fantasy Suite. Twice daily, all the content you need. Shall you make love to the screeching sounds of podcaster Dave Neal? Why not? But I would love to read a book that was, of Steve telling us all of his different spoilers and who the source was. Like, you don't have to give people up, but it would just be nice to know. It's like, well, this was a tour guide who was walking by, because he gets the most random conversations. As you guys know, one time Nick Viall was on the phone in an airplane spoiling his own season, and Reality Steve was able to get a copy of that. I mean, that's just incredible.
Like Jen's season was huge because I had pictures of both Marcus and Devin, including Devin in his final rose ceremony attire. So it helped once the first preview of the season was released and we had Jen telling someone clearly in a white/cream blazer that I can't let you propose to me. And then we knew that was Devin because I had the picture of Devin in the white blazer.
How did that work out for you, Devin?
So we just don't know. Again, this is just something that probably got about 10 days left of filming, roughly. Maybe a little bit more, but not much. And 3 people left. Once they start filming overnights, it's overnights, day off, overnights, day off, rose ceremony. Then it's down to the final 2, meet the parents, and then a final rose ceremony day.
We need to hire a gardener to sit outside the windows of the fantasy suites, kind of with those bonsai tree little shears, and they can just be like clipping the grass very slowly and quietly. Maybe we shouldn't do that. That sounds very voyeuristic. We respect their privacy, but the idea is pretty funny. There it is. Those are your top 3. Do you care? No, but that's all right. You will. And you will care. You know when you'll care? When you watch that trailer and you go, I think I'm going to pass on this next season. And then you see a trailer and someone throws a cake in a fire and you're like, all right, I'm in, baby. Let's go. You know, I'm going to watch this season up until they go to the Rush Hour Podcast Fantasy Suite. That's what I'm going to do. All right. My next video today, and we're a little light on content, I'm going to just share my thoughts about a new documentary that came out that is absolute banana land. It's a documentary about a lady who faked cancer, and it kind of relates to the Bachelor community because it relates to another story of someone faking cancer. So we'll have that content for you coming up next. And if you want more entertainment and pop culture news, I ain't going away. We're only growing this thing. It's been such a successful year for the podcast, going to twice daily. And we will be here this afternoon with a brand new episode. But if you want to go check out the morning episode, we got all the content there. Pop culture, entertainment news. The last 5 minutes or so is political. So if you're sick of the politics, I hear you. We got 15 days until this thing's all wrapped up, and then another month of people contesting things and not conceding. But that's a different story. So if you want to check out the content, you can just scan that or just search The Rush Hour with Dave Neal. We'll be back with more right after this.